Welcome to the Real Estate Show on WGBF AM with your host, Charlie Butler. This is where you'll learn to sell your home quickly and for more money. And now, the host of the Real Estate Show, the guy who guarantees to sell your home or he'll buy it himself, Charlie Butler.
Good morning, this Super Bowl Sunday Tri-State. And that didn't even come out right anyway, but we're going to roll with it, though, Evie. This is the Charlie Butler Real Estate Show, and we are here on Super Bowl Sunday with my co-host, Evie Barr.
Good morning. Are we going to talk about who we want to win?
Oh, I don't think there's any question who we want to win. I mean, anybody in Indiana that could ever root for the Patriots, that's, after all those battles with Brady and
Deflategate,
and Coach Belichick. But anyway, so I'm assuming you're rooting for the Dirty Birds.
Well, of course.
All right.
They aren't the Patriots, so definitely.
Yeah, anybody but the Patriots. For you Patriots fans, that was Evie Barr's idea. You can still call the Charlie Butler team for your real estate needs, okay?
All of it was saying good fine.
Yeah, absolutely. And so Evie, how are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. How about you?
It's going good. Business, we're still in early February, but it's been good. It's been really good on the commercial side. Again, I think we were talking just briefly last week. The multifamily side of the business is in apartment complexes. We've got very busy there. Again, we're in the same situation that people are with single-family homes. We just don't have enough inventory. So anyone that has a complex, and if you're sitting there thinking, I've got one, but man, I've got some units that need some work. We've got guys that will buy them as is. We got guys that want, I've got them across the gamut. Got guys that want really nice things. Probably got anything up to 500 units, all the way down to 8 units and everywhere in between. And I've got guys that want them not, and I've got guys that will say, hey, we'll do the work. Obviously, they're going to reflect that somewhat in the price, but they'll buy them as is and do the work. So
I actually have a question that
sure.
came into my head last week, and I thought I'm just going to wait and ask him this week. But if you have someone that's getting into apartment complex and maybe they think they want to go like Lynch Road area and build a new complex, do you have a connection for them with a commercial contractor?
I do.
That they can contact your office?
Absolutely. And just I'm going to give him a free plug here because one of the people that does a lot of that, and he's built 4 or 5 complexes just recently, is Kenny Reinbrecht, and everybody thinks that Reinbrecht Homes, everybody thinks about Kenny as a residential builder, and
yes.
He is an excellent residential builder, but he is doing some really, really good work on apartments. And actually, right now, anyone who has ground, we've got a couple developers that are looking to build more apartment complexes. I sometimes wonder if we're oversaturating, but it doesn't seem like. You sometimes think you are, but it always seems to be okay. Everybody seems to do fine.
Well, and aren't we going to have a need once the IU Med Center is built in our area? And
well, we got the IU Med Center. We've got Toyota. That was the Pathfinder line, I think, that they're extending, right?
Highlander.
Excuse me, the Highlander line. And that's going to bring, I believe, 300 more jobs by...
I think 400 by 2019, I think yes.
It is. So we've got that. It's the things you hear. This is strictly rumor, but Alcoa is starting to bring people back again and are going to be... Berry Plastics has just exploded.
Yes.
Not just here, but around the world. They... The weird thing about Berry Plastics is I've got a client that's a financial analyst for Taco Bell. And a few years ago, first time I ever sold them a property out here, they came out here, we're looking, and she said, so who are some of your employers? And I have a list of I keep everyone who has 1,000 jobs or more. And she goes right by Toyota, Alcoa, it was Bristol Myers at the time, GE Plastics at the time, and she said, oh, Berry Plastics. I said, why did you go to Berry Plastics first? She said, well, in our industry, so I see that name all the time because it's the first time I realized that, like, all those specialty cups, like Star Wars cups.
Yes.
And at the stadiums. And
yes.
like Taco Bell, for example, like those plastic cups that they have, whether they're doing something special, that all comes from Berry Plastics.
Yes. It was a little bit of a running joke in my family because we have someone that works for Berry, and Berry had done, I don't know if it was for a Super Bowl or just for the team, but it was a Buffalo Bills cup, and they flipped the colors on them and had them wrong. So they wound up with a bunch of them and nothing to do. And suddenly my entire family has these cups, and we kind of had to laugh every time we went to somebody's house and had our iced tea in them. And we all had the same, glasses that we use.
What's going on in your world, Abby?
One thing that I wanted to talk about this morning is the importance of pre-approvals.
One of these days, Abby's going to tell me, hey, I've met this great guy, okay? And he's all,
wow, no pressure there.
And on like this, That's what I'm looking for, Abby. I'm looking for the good stuff. You got to hear about mortgages again, okay?
Hey, in my world, mortgages is the good stuff.
And in my world, if they don't get mortgages, I don't eat. So, that's okay.
Yes,
so
a day without a loan is a day without sunshine. That's what I think.
Okay.
So
I'm writing that down, by the way.
Usually we do mention pre-approvals throughout the show. And anyone that's looking to buy a home in the near future, it is so important to have a pre-approval done. I had a situation that popped up recently that I kind of wanted to share with our listeners, just to further point out how important it is. I have a borrower that is having a home built. She is lucky enough that the construction company is doing the finance for the build of the home, and then once the home's completed, she will finance it from there. And I had pre-approved her about 2.5 months ago, and she called me that she was picking out lighting or whatever, flooring, and she wanted to know if we could do some upgrades and include that in the loan amount. And I noticed their credit report was getting ready to expire. She had great credit. There were no bad marks against it. And I pulled up her credit report, and all of a sudden her credit score had dropped into, I believe it was the 500s.
Oh.
And she had told me.
And for those who don't know, 500s are not, it's not good.
Yes. We do. Waterstone Mortgage does have the ability to finance clients that have credit scores under 600, but they're usually very special situations. They're tough to get through, but we can definitely do them. But she freaked out whenever I told her. She told me she had been paying everything on time. She hadn't gotten anything new. Well, what had happened was, in her case, that she thought a student loan was deferred. And for some reason, the student loan company didn't have it as being deferred. So she was showing 90 days past due. Luckily, we're working on getting it all fixed with the Department of Education that has the student loan, but that's a great scenario to point out to people. If you haven't checked your credit recently, something might have popped on there that, it might not be true, but you need to get it fixed before you go to finance a home, to get a better interest rate, to raise your credit score, to be eligible for the loan. So it is always very, very, very important to get pre-approved. Whether you think you have perfect credit or not, it doesn't take but a phone conversation that's 15 to 20 minutes long with me to get your information. There's no cost to it. I always get back to people within 24 hours.
She is one of the best, probably the best person that I've ever worked with as far as the service end of it. Abby's follow-up, and everybody, I've told people this, I've come to use her. Her follow-up is everybody just is blown away by your follow-up. Seriously.
Well, thank you. I believe that everybody wants to know what's going on.
Yeah.
It's an important transaction, definitely to the buyer, but also to the realtors involved and to me. So you've got to keep everybody in the loop.
And so you get pre-approved, call the Charlie Butler team. We've got, We've got people who specialize in working with buyers, people who specialize in working with sellers. Call us at 812-499-7758. And once we find you a house, if he's got your mortgage pre-approved, you're going to need insurance. And that's where our guest comes in today. Martin Woodruff from State Farm Insurance. Welcome, Martin.
Certainly glad to be here. Anxious to get to the kickoff of the Super Bowl.
Absolutely. Hopefully you weren't a Patriots fan after that.
Not now. But it is an all-day event waiting for the kickoff.
Absolutely. So. It is. And the commercials are great, earlier during the day.
Yes.
And so, Martin, you've been doing this, I know, for a long time.
35 years.
30, yeah. And again, Martin State Farm Agency is on, I believe, the corner of Franklin and Wabash.
Yes, sir, Franklin and Wabash.
And also, Martin will put a smile on your face because he's a nut clubber, and we all know the nut clubber brings the fall festival, which is
we enjoy it. It actually goes on right in front of my office, so it's quite a special week for us.
Yeah, that's I don't think I could have it from my office. I think I would eat all the time.
Well, my staff usually does.
But Martin, we're talking about mortgages, a sale, everything gets put together. So this person that's buying their first home, and they really, they don't know the whole process. At what point do they need to be coming to you?
Well, what they need to understand is that the buying a home is most of the time their largest purchase they ever make, and maybe the largest asset they ever own. The process is very important to understand it. You need a realtor that can help you through the purchase process. You need someone to help you through the mortgage process, but also there's a cost and importance to the insurance of the home. So we would like to actually talk to you in the pre-buying once you've kind of selected a home that you want, so we can give you some initial cost on the homeowners of that. That many times goes into your escrow account, but that's your money that you have to pay as a customer, and you need to know what that cost is because it affects your payment,
yes,
as well as your taxes, and that's important. Yeah.
There are different ways, and I know a lot of it is determined on what the mortgage company's criteria is, but there's different ways that you can insure your home. And some people unfortunately get you hear about they think things are covered a certain way and they're not. And what are some of the important things, Martin, that people need to be looking for in the coverage of their home?
The number one thing that I think is the most important is to properly insure your home, not only with coverages, but with the right amount of coverage. We use a process to evaluate the insurance value of your home versus the market value. In the buying process at this point, you've been very concerned with the market value of your home, and that is affected by taxes, school district, interest rates, the economy, many other things as to the market value of your home. But when we turn to look at insurance value, we look at the cost of rebuilding your home with like, kind, and quality materials at today's cost of labor and material. That can be a little different than the market value, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less, but generally in the area. But it's very important to know that figure, because if your most valuable asset were to be destroyed, you want it replaced with equal or greater value. So very important. Absolutely,
because, and I think what you're saying, you can insure it one way and you're going to get X amount of dollars. Let's say you bought your home for $100,000, and if that's what you got it insured for, and it unfortunately burns down, and it costs $150 to rebuild, you're $50,000 in the hole if you don't have properly insured.
That's exactly true, because in some instances, the cost of labor and material to rebuild your home escalates greater than the market value of your home.
Absolutely.
So, now that's not totally. There's no exact truth to that, but there is a variable there that's very important to realize and to understand, that if you don't start out insuring it properly, it can really well cost you as the client in the end.
And Martin, I've always felt personally with insurance the same way I do with mortgages, with my own business, is the most important thing is, I mean, let's face it, we all our companies, whether it be real estate, mortgage, insurance, offer a lot of the same products. We know, whether, our competitors do, but the service becomes so important there. And yours is probably has to go a step farther than mine or Evie's, because when something happens when you've got insurance, it's a lot of time catastrophic for that client.
Right. That's something we talk about a lot in my office, that whatever may be a normal routine claim for us can be very catastrophic, very stressful for our clients. So our job begins when we sell you the policy, and when we really deliver it is when we need to take care of you on a claim, or in a time when there's an issue with your policy that you need to collect from the insurance company. It's important that we're there to help you do that.
And I think, at least, and again, I'm speaking not as an insurance expert, but just things that come through my mind. One of the things that I think I would never think about if an agent didn't tell me, there are so many little things that go with that policy. Like if there is some kind of damage to my home, where I've got coverage there where I can stay in a hotel until it's taken care of. I've got I'm trying to what are some, and so Mark, now on that note, what are some of the little things that people out there that are thinking about their first home, or even if it's not their first home, they're wondering about their insurance coverage? Because I think I'm like most people. Most people just trust their agent. What are some of those little things they don't necessarily think that they need to be thinking?
Well, one of the things that we always try to talk to clients about is not only covering their home properly, but the coverages they buy for their home. There are coverages in a policy that are broad, such as fire and windstorm. In this area, we also often talk about earthquake, which is an opportunity could have that we would be claims here on that. Not real frequently. Another little bitty coverage that is hydrostatic pressure, and people don't understand that that's collapse of a basement or a foundation wall underneath your house. Should that claim occur, I've seen houses be total losses because of that. Now, the average homeowner doesn't think about going to their agent and say, I want to be sure I have hydrostatic pressure coverage. That's why I believe it's very important to sit down with a professional agent to go through these coverages so that you do have the coverages that suit your home individually. And because each purchase is the same as you're purchasing a house that's different from any others, your mortgage is structured to suit you. The homeowners needs to be structured to protect your home, your liability, your personal property the way it needs to be. One of the most important coverages in the policy is replacement cost, not only on the dwelling, but on the contents of the dwelling. All policies do not include those coverages. So what you need to do is be sure that you have and understand that you are covered correctly, because you don't want to find out after the fact that they're only going to buy you used stuff to put back in your house, or they're not going to pay for the same quality of cabinets that you had in your house.
Right.
What you want to find out, what you want your agent to say is, we'll take care of it, and it'll be back the way it was.
Does it help if someone's purchasing a home, whether it be brand new or been there for a while? Does it help if they keep the appraisal that they're given from their mortgage lender in case there is a catastrophic event, a house fire? Does that help your office at all?
It certainly does. Any documentation that allows us to help to recreate the home, or the value of the home, or the kind and quality of materials in the home is very, very important. We also would recommend that everybody keep a complete inventory of everything in their home. Now, that's not really going to happen, because that's almost an impossible task. What we do recommend is that people take videos or photographs of their home, not to be pretty or look nice, but to show what's in their cabinets, what's in their closets, so that in case of a total loss, and I've had to deal with some of those, we have to recreate a list of what you've lost to establish what it was to replace it. So those are very important things to keep, and don't keep them in the living room. You need to take them off premise or in the cloud or somewhere where you can access them if your home is gone.
In the late 80s, we had a house fire. My parents had a house fire in the basement, which was where we stored all of our Christmas. Mm-hmm. And Mom had collected Hallmark ornaments for years. And the adjuster wound up telling her, you need to list all of those Hallmark ornaments because they were considered collectibles and they did have a true value to them. Well, she never thought to keep inventory of those up until that point in time. But, it can make a difference just because it was a collectible.
Exactly. Any records you have in a total loss situation, any records you have to recreate what you've lost are very, very valuable because you do have to recreate that so that you can be properly paid and compensated for it. And I can't stress enough the photos, the videos, the things that will help you recall those lists as being invaluable in that case. So.
I'm just jumping in, and I'm not. I wear a Rolex watch I've had for years. Okay, but I don't think I've got a picture of it anywhere.
Well,
if something happened, and I can remember my agent telling me that if it was stolen out of my car, that my homeowners would take care of it.
That is true, that your personal property, and that's part of your personal property, is covered anywhere in the world, and not only in your home. The items such as a Rolex watch, you probably need to be sure that you have some type of documentation on that. You may even need to have specialty coverages because homeowners policies have limits on certain things, and one of them they have limits on is jewelry coverage, furs, silverware, glassware, money and securities, those things that you may have that may exceed those. That's something that a professional agent needs to sit down and talk to you about, and to be sure that they are covered properly and they are documented properly.
So, do you need, if you want to carry more coverage, Martin? Does someone need to get an umbrella policy?
Certainly.
And you might explain what that is.
One of the things that we recommend quite frequently to our clients is a personal liability umbrella. Now, what that does is it simply takes your auto coverages, your homeowner's coverages, and it puts an umbrella over the top of them, an additional $1 million or $2 million in liability protection. Liability is a really strange thing. Should you be sued, you will have to be defended, and that will affect your assets. And liability is very important to cover, and umbrellas are highly recommended.
If I can switch gears a little bit, as a mortgage lender, I know that a buyer doesn't always understand the differences in homeowners insurance premiums. I've been told that some of that is driven by an insurance credit score, which is completely different than the type of credit score I get. What all does that insurance credit score, what all of it is it made up of?
Well, it's not actually a credit score. Insurance companies create what they call a customer index number. That's advised of a lot of information. Part of that is their credit score, but it also builds into that your past claims history, a lot of different things like that that may come up with that number, which could vary your premium a little bit one way or the other.
But thinking about it now, sometimes I have a borrower who's purchasing a home for $100,000, and it's an older home, and it seems like their premium is way out of line. Could that be from the replacement costs that's driving it up?
That certainly could be, because if they're purchasing a home for $100,000, the replacement cost on that home could be considerably more because of the type of construction and the square footage and the size of that home, in a discrepancy with the market value, which could cause the cost to go up considerably.
Okay.
Martin, where I know we're coming the last few minutes here, and you're the professional here, so there's some things that Evie and I haven't covered that maybe really needs to be covered for someone on their home. The
thing that I would think is very important is something we refer to as the triangle of protection. Okay, in the United States, more homes are lost through foreclosure from the loss of a breadwinner, through life or disability. I think it's very important that we talk about covering the breadwinner in your home with a mortgage life insurance. We talk about having disability insurance to make the mortgage payment should there be a disability, as well as coverage to cover fire, tornado, and the many other hazards. Being a professional in the insurance industry, I think it's very important to take care of the client in whole and not just in part. Not be a policy salesman, but being an insurance professional to help and deal with the client on all their needs and all that triangle.
And I've had people that are looking to finance either a new home or a refinance. And a lot of times they will ask me, you know, do you have disability insurance you offer or mortgage life insurance? And I always direct them back to their insurance agent, because the type of coverage you would get attached to your mortgage loan, it would be so much more beneficial to stay with your actual homeowner's insurance agent. It's going to be a much better policy.
Certainly, I agree with that, and I'm going to tell you, you know, you need to deal with a professional realtor when you're buying, a professional mortgage broker when you're financing, and from insurance product standpoint, I would certainly recommend you deal with a professional insurance agent, and you'll get the best of all worlds by doing that.
Yes.
And so, Martin, thanks for coming in today.
Oh, I certainly enjoyed it. Had a lot of fun.
It was fun, and everybody stop by and see Martin when they're at the Fall Festival too. You know,
yeah. Franklin and Wabash, we have a bathroom that's used quite frequently.
you can pull some extra cash in on
yes,
that one,
we
Martin.
could.
What booth sits outside of your door?
Wish Upon a Star is the first booth right outside our door.
Okay.
What do they have? They've got the pork chops.
Pork chops,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
they've got the good pork chops.
Brain sandwiches are very close. Has a long line in my parking lot.
Oh wow. Martin Woodruff from State Farm Insurance. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And that was good. That was very informative.
Very informative, yes.
And just a couple guests we've got coming up that I'd want to talk about. We've got Trent Sohn from Sohn Associates. So we really have it to talk about the auction process with homes.
Yes.
And we've also got one, and she is really shy around the mic, so we're gonna, we'll probably have to prompt her a lot. But we've got Leslie from the WKDQ Morning Show.
Okay.
We'll do. We'll try to get her through that, though. You know, I mean, I know she's afraid of the mic, but Leslie's great, and we'll have some fun with that one. And
I don't think we've given our contact information yet.
Oh, we did.
Yeah. So real quick, if anyone wants to contact me and be pre-approved for a mortgage, they can call me at 812-463-3199. That's Evie Barr at Waterstone Mortgage. Or they can email me at ebarr@waterstonemortgage.com.
Or you can look at her app, which is Evelyn Barr. I just wanted to throw that Evelyn in there. And if you know any nice guys, just call.
Oh, my God. That's the first time I've really been embarrassed, Charlie.
Oh, there we go. Or the Charlie Butler team, 812-499-7758. CharlieButlerTeam.com. And Facebook us. Almeda Rogers is here. She'll get it. She'll get it to us. Thanks, everyone. Have a great Super Bowl Sunday. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to The Real Estate Show on WGBF AM with the guy who guarantees to sell your home or he'll buy it himself, Charlie Butler. Join us every week at this time to find out how to sell your home quickly and for more money. For more information, email cbutler@kw.com or visit charliebutlerteam.com.